Everybody, my name's Sai, and I'm here from Against Defense. We're bringing to you UFC 280. We're going to be breaking down for you the full card from start to stop. You know exactly what the drill is all about, but at the same time, we've all been waiting for this for so long. So sit tight, tuck in, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. What's good, everyone? Yep, so look, we're back for another People's Pick show. I'm here with my boy Sai. No, you're not Sai. I'm Sai. You're Ash. Look, Ash, look, introduce yourself to the people, man. How's things been? How's life? How's it going?
Fantastic. Yeah, obviously, I've been putting tweets out left, right, and centre. The week's going slow for me. I think I just needed to hurry up, and obviously, we might as well kick things off as we just we've had the press conference just recently. Yeah. And to be fair, most recent press conferences haven't been that great. This press conference has been fire. Obviously, most of the fights, there's a bit of backlash and everything like that. And as John says, the backlash makes everyone horny. This
is known to be the biggest event of the year. UFC 280 is expected just to blow every other event out of the water. Now, is that sort of putting a little bit of too much of a bad omen on it? To sort of are you jinxing it by saying so, or is it rightfully claiming it?
No, I think it's rightfully claiming it. It's just obviously the most anticipated fight that people want to see is obviously the main event, because obviously Charles Oliveira, how good is he? And then obviously the tear that Islam's on himself as well. It's just one of them, grappler versus submission god. If you would.
I would not. Do you know what I mean? I'm a bit of a stickler. You know, I still think the Islam Makhachev Beneil Dariush fight should have happened. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that would have been at that point. I'd be like, yeah, you fully earned this. And I'll get into that when we get into that particular fight as well, because I got something to unpack on that one. But
no, it's true. It's true. Obviously, we had a bit of short, bitty arm pushing Sean O'Malley in the face-offs just after the press conference. Yeah, that was interesting there. Obviously, them two getting a bit heated, and then TJ Dillashaw giving it to Aljamain Sterling giving it back.
Do you know what? You're right. It is one of the few events where the fights start outside of the octagon. Do you know what I mean? You get too many events where it's very amicable. Not since Conor McGregor days, really, when you're really sort of spitting venom on the press conferences, and it all gets proper leery before you, you know, in the build up to those weeks. So you're right. You don't really see that these days.
No, you don't. No, that's it.
But it sounds like it's been absolutely electric in the build up to this, for sure.
No, it's been fire. Obviously, some of the comments that obviously that Petr made to Sean O'Malley. Have you not watched some of the embedded as well? He speaks English. Like, I didn't even know Petr speaks that. Yeah, he speaks okay English. I never bloody knew that. He's coming out on the embedded speaking good English. And he said in a press conference that Sean O'Malley looks like a hooker off the street. Like,
I'm sure he meant like a very street-looking cool dude, but his English is that bad, it sort of sounded like that.
No, it's crazy. Crazy.
I watched the fight of him. The last time he done 3 rounds, I think I was looking at, was it, who did he fight? I'm trying to think.
Who's that?
My brains. Petr. And his English was so broken. It was so bad. You know, he had to get
his last 3-round fight was Raya Faber,
Yeah, no, it was before Raya Faber, actually. Yeah, prior to that one. It was back in like 2020. 2019.
Jimmy Rivera or John Johnson?
Jimmy Rivera. No, Jimmy Rivera. Yeah, I remember Jimmy Rivera. But that was it. Yeah, and look, generally, his English was broken. It wasn't great. He tried. He gave it a good go, but he had to get the translator to sort of take over. But yeah, so he's learned a lot. He's grown a lot, but also, he speaks very good English.
Yes, welcome
Which
in.
Which means we get
Stoney,
on the channel.
By the way, Stoney, welcome in, buddy.
Stoney, what's up, man? How you doing? Welcome in.
Right, should we kick things off then?
Yeah, I reckon so. It'd be rude not to win it. So let's have a look at the fight card as it stands so far. So basically, we now have just get this whole card to rank here.
Go for it.
There it is. No, it's not. No, that is not it. Something is there. All right. When it loads up, we're going to be looking at. Should we go? Go from the bottom to the top or top to bottom?
Oh, should we mix it up and go top to bottom instead of top to bottom instead of bottom to top, or do you want to do it the usual way?
To stick to what's usual.
Yeah, go on.
What we're used to.
Yeah, let's build it up.
All right, we'll build up from what we're used to.
So obviously, I know you're trying to get it up. I'll just talk about these two for a sec. Obviously, we've got Katlyn Chookagian taking on Manon Fiorot. Again, a lot of people may question why Belal Muhammad versus Sean Brady might not be on there. For me, this fight it's actually a really, really good fight because the overall winner of this will go on to fight Shevchenko, me personally.
But yeah, look, we don't want to see that again with Katlyn Chookagian, do we?
She'd be on a 5-fight win streak since losing to Shevchenko. So
I know, but we've already seen the levels that Shevchenko is above.
We have. But you can't deny someone that's been on a 5-fight win streak since losing. Sometimes, like you think like Dustin Poirier beats Conor McGregor, then gets another title shot, or vice versa. If you know what I mean.
We need to see something new from Katlyn. She comes out today. Even if she beats Manon Fiorot, we just have to see something new in the way of which she does it.
I get what you mean.
Not just using her range, not just falling back behind her long reach advantage that she always has done before and previously. Yes. So because otherwise, anyone who's watching that fight and sees her beating Manon Fiorot, we're already thinking the next fight ahead. We're already thinking, okay, so how are you going to be? How are you going to be better next time against Shevchenko? So we're already going to have that in the back of our mind. So we're going to be a step ahead of the game, and she's got to satisfy our future expectations, I think, personally, in my opinion. But as you mentioned, of course, with Katlyn Chookagian, she is 18-4-0. So as you said, a 5-fight win streak is incredible. She's up against the Manon Fiorot, who's 9-1. Now, height, not a lot in it. You talk about 5'9" against a 5'7", but in the reach advantage, you're talking about 3 inches. Now, the thing is,
in Chookagian's favor?
Yeah, in Chookagian's favor. Yeah. Chookagian's at 68, and then you got Manon Fiorot at 65. And here's the thing, though, as well. Like, I've seen Manon Fiorot fight in some of her past tapes, and one thing I did notice particularly is she's generally quite tall against the division. She's one of the taller ones and a better reach advantage in most of her matchups. So it's probably one of the few matchups she's had as of late, in which case she doesn't have a reach advantage. But she is also a rangy striker. I tend to notice, and she has those long range weapons. Shall we see what the
Chookagian's just so good at, like you said a second ago. Obviously, you're saying the rangy.
Yeah,
she's so good at keeping her range, and I know a lot of people say it's boring and stuff, but like she's an expert at the basics, and you get a lot of long rangy fighters that don't use their range to their advantage. Katlyn Chookagian uses it to her advantage every single fight.
Yeah, true. Yeah, she does, and that's why I want to see something else. But let's get what the people had to say about this one, and we'll come right back and I guess we'll
get to the people.
Yeah, see what the people say.
What's going on against the fence? It's your boy Patrick, a.k.a. Addicted to Combat, talking Manon Fiorot versus Katlyn Chookagian at women's flyweight. A very important fight for Manon Fiorot here. She's 4-0 in the UFC, finishing her first 2 opponents by vicious striking stoppages. But Katlyn Chookagian is a very durable girl. She's managed to go 15-2 in decisions, and she's got 15 fights in the UFC overall. If you can beat her, you can potentially be next in line for the champion. Now, Manon Fiorot has got a lot going against her here. The height and reach is against her. Obviously, the UFC experience is against her, but I think Manon Fiorot is strong enough and athletic enough to strike her way in range with combinations, close that distance against Katlyn Chookagian, and actually win minutes, hugging her against the cage, getting knees in the clinch, elbows in the clinch, and eventually at the end of the round, taking her to her back, where Katlyn Chookagian has trouble getting up off the mat. So I don't think it's going to be a vicious striking combination, fight-ending sequence for Manon Fiorot. I think it's going to be a lot of wrestling and a lot of cage stalling and, just her winning minutes that way. So give me Manon Fiorot to actually defeat Katlyn Chookagian, who's been very predictable in getting decision wins, but I think her streak ends here, and Manon Fiorot goes 5-0 in the division.
The champion has a name, Do Bronx. Obrigado, Jesus. I honestly have no idea who takes this, and I don't believe anyone really does have an idea. And I'm going to sound like a super casual saying this, but I just think Islam becoming champ of the lightweight division just makes it from one of the most super interesting divisions in the promotion to suddenly becoming super boring. And I'm really praying for a Charlie Olives KO in round 1. Enjoy the card. I hope you agree with some of my predictions. If you don't, I don't really care. Give us a follow.
I would go for Fiorot over Katlyn Chookagian. That was the easiest fight for me to pick on all the cards, but it's one hell of an event, and it starts at a great time for us out here in India. So I'm pretty excited for this, even though it's been a long day.
Wow, there's some pretty good picks.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that Patrick. Again, Patrick, thanks again for sending it in.
Yeah,
And Posh
thank you,
Boy, or
legend.
if you like Pixel Boy, got his socials there as well. So Posh Boy, thanks again for your picks. They're pretty cool. I generally found them interesting because
I love hearing Patrick talk, man.
Yeah,
So I could listen to Patrick all day, honestly. Like,
here's the thing: he's always in the car when he sends in videos, right? I just want to know where he's going. You know, where are you off to, bro? We're gonna catch up soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the same time, like he's saying it's gonna be like a wrestling affair. That's what he thinks. Shall we have a look at those grappling numbers over here?
Yeah, let's get into that then, and then we can dive into it.
So on paper, takedown accuracy it's pretty much the same on both sides. These are like the same women. Yeah, there's nothing in it really. Striking, significant strikes wise, it looks like output wise, it's Manon Fiorot is heavy. I mean, again, you got Katlyn Chookagian, who's got like a lot more time and fight time in the octagon. So you got to sort of take some of these numbers with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
But would you side with what Patrick's been saying? Then do you think that it will be Manon Fiorot who's going to be engaging the wrestling? Do you reckon their striking is going to cancel each other out?
Well, that's the thing. Obviously, Katlyn Chookagian's only fought one southpaw before, and that was the champ. And obviously, we know Manuel Fiorot's southpaw. So, again, that could play into Manuel Fiorot's hands a little bit because obviously she is southpaw.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not sure if the wrestling will initiate. But I think that if it is going to come from anywhere, it will come from Manuel Fiorot, just because of the way Katlyn Chookagian will use her range, and Fiorot might not be able to get in on her. They both like to throw teep kicks to the body, teep kicks to the legs. They're both basically similar stand up. So
yeah, it'll cancel itself out.
Yeah, it could potentially, but yeah, if anyone, I do agree. If anyone's going to initiate it, it will be Fiorot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chookagian loves to go to decisions. Fiorot is someone who tends to get TKOs, as she has, in a short time here that we've seen. Do you think that if it does, you think it would go to distance, something like this?
I think it'll go to the distance, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, statistically, that could favor Chookagian.
Yeah.
We're still talking a 3-round fight, but...
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. And after this fight, Manon Fiorot, so you got something like Manon Fiorot, let's say she does do that, right? Let's talk about, because a lot of people watching this fight are going to be thinking about the future. They're going to be thinking about the next fight that comes after this, right? And Manon Fiorot, let's say she does beat Katlyn Chookagian. Is she now ready for Shevchenko? Is that argument legit now, or is she need to... Do you know what I mean?
She's got to be, really, because there's fights that are happening in and around her or above her, and the timeline could marry up well. So if she does beat someone like Chookagian, obviously Chookagian's up there. So if you're going to beat like the gatekeeper in the division, you've got to go for the title.
Yeah, true.
And to be fair, she's coming into this fight with a lot of hype. Yeah, as well, a lot of hype. Believe you me, there's a lot of people out there that are literally counting out Chookagian just like that.
Yeah. Now, look, here's the thing. I think whoever wins this fight, be it Chookagian or be it Manon Fiorot, they can't just win. They have to really show off.
Yeah, they may have to put a statement on. Yeah, they may have
100%.
to put a statement on it. Well, I think if anyone needs to put a statement, it's going to be Chookagian more than Fiorot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess her win will be a statement enough. But, you know, we've got that second fight against Shevchenko in the back of our minds. You know, we're thinking, does she have the skill set, the tools? Because when Talia Santos had a good crack at Santos, you start realizing that it's that kind of style of fighter that has the better edge, I guess, in the octagon against someone like Shevchenko.
Trying to drag Shevchenko to the deep waters. And I think, obviously, the style of Santos had that, and I think the style of Chookagian and Fiorot, I don't think she can take Shevchenko to the deep waters.
Yeah.
Again, if they're going to try and stand with someone like Shevchenko, it's not going to marry up well.
Yeah, I mean, if maybe it's another fight, another time, another conversation. But Manon Fiorot and Talia Santos. Now, if we talk about that could be
that could be a barn-burner of a fight, to be honest.
Yeah, just to see. All right, so look, let's get to those gauges real quick.
Yeah.
I guess if we was to quickly find out now what comes next in this particular Here we go. What's the if we're going to look at what comes next, who do you reckon is going to have the striking here? It kind of cancels each other out, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is where I could get a lot of hate, and I know Jordan in the background will scream at me, but me personally, I think Chookagian. But I know obviously Fiorot puts people away, like you said, but I've just seen obviously more of it from Chookagian, if you know what I mean. Like she just throws more, if you know what I mean. Obviously, I would give the power to Fiorot, but I'd give the striking to Chookagian.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's me personally. If you couldn't obviously side against me, but
okay. Let's give that a go. So you think power goes to striking goes to Chookagian, sorry?
Yeah.
And then the power you'll give to
But I'm not taking nothing away from Fiorot because she's a great striker as well.
Grappling?
Grappling, I've got to go Fiorot.
Okay.
Just see more of it.
You think Fiorot on grappling? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then what about speed?
I'm gonna go for Fiorot in this one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fiorot for speed. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, I actually don't have the things coming up at the moment, to be fair. But you said you got speed for. So here we go. It's now coming through. And then cardio would be. I think we have to go Chookagian based on the.
Yeah, because she's been more 3-round fights, and she's been 5 rounds with the champ as well.
I think, exactly. Now looking at that and how it sizes up, you think striking?
Who would you personally go for on the night? Would you go for Fiorot on the night?
Oh, this is hard, man. This is
what I mean. This one's hard for me.
I'm pretty sound on the rest of my picks going forwards, but this one is a tough one. On the night for me, I think I might say Chookagian, but my heart would want Fiorot. That's where my heart is, my head is. Yeah. I want Fiorot to do it because I just want some fresh.
Yeah, it would dice up the division a little bit if she wins.
For sure. Absolutely. All right.
Again, get your thoughts in quickly if you are in the chat. Get your thoughts in. Question it if I'm in the wrong. Question it.
You are in the wrong, bro. I don't know. All right, cool. So let's go back down to the fight card to see who's next up on the.
Usa.
Oh, this one I really want to talk about. This fight I really want to talk about. Ah, man, this is good. So this is Beneil Dariush versus Mateusz Gamrot, right?
Yeah.
So Mateusz Gamrot, this guy is 21-1-0 and 1 no contest as well. But then you got someone like Dariush who's 21-4-1. Now, I'm a bit surprised by those numbers. I thought Dariush was... Yeah, I am. Wow. Okay. No, on paper, Gamrot's actually impressed me a little bit on paper. But I already know who my pick is going into this. You know who my pick is.
I know who your pick is.
You know who your pick is.
You're going to stick with your boy.
Now, these guys coming at the same height, and I guess reach-wise, only 2 inches in it for someone like Beneil Dariush. So there's not a lot there. Now, you're talking about stylistically, these both guys, you got your wrestler, and you got someone who's just excellent at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Fantastic pedigree. Brilliant at making those passes when the fight hits the mat. We'll check out what the people had to say about this one, and then we'll come right on back. But I think if you guys are still in tune with us as well, there are some pretty exciting picks coming up from the likes of Cheyenne Velismus. Yeah, she's in the show too. Sadiq Yusuf, he's also going to be here. And of course, we've got Eric Gonzalez and Matt Semmelsberger. So we've got all the UFC fighters also chiming in and giving some picks here. And a wise man once says, no one picks fights like fighters pick fights. So it's quite interesting to get their insights on it as well when we get into it. But let's see who's coming up next. And we'll be right back with a full breakdown after. I want to ask about Beneil Dariush because the reason why is because at the beginning of the year I had strong hopes for both Islam Makhachev and also Beneil Dariush, but I haven't seen much of Beneil Dariush this year at all. Do you have much opinions as to how that fight's going to match up? He's going to be against Mateusz Gamrot. What's your thoughts?
I've seen Beneil fight a decent bit. I love his style. I've only watched Gamrot a little bit, but I know he's got a lot of steam behind him coming into the fight. So I honestly, man, I don't know enough about either of those guys to say what's going to happen, but I think Gamrot seems to be more the up and coming type of guy. So I'll probably lean towards him because Beneil, dude. I mean, Beneil's a beast. Don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure
he's been out.
He's
for
getting
a while.
up there, man.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and he hasn't. I don't know when the last time he fought was.
Yeah, a while ago because obviously had a bit of an injury, didn't he?
A child, father time. People might say might be trying to catch up on him, but that was UFC 262. Tony Ferguson. 2021.
year.
Yeah.
Beneil Dariush versus Mateusz Gamrot. Oof.
Man, a lot. I feel vindicated. I've been talking about Gamrot forever. In my gym, we got these younger guys where whenever somebody new comes up, I tell them to watch him. And I remember when Gamrot first came, they're like, "Who the heck is Gamrot? Who the heck is Gamrot?" I'm like, "Man, you gotta watch this guy."
Yeah.
Because he's doing very impressive things with his wrestling. He's doing low ankle single legs, like wrestling moves that you don't typically see in MMA.
Yeah.
And one of the best things that could have happened for Gamrot was that fight he just had with the younger guy.
So Chookagian.
And that was
Chookagian. That was a close fight.
That was the most high level show of
that was amazing to watch,
exchanges between two guys, And that fight had almost 20 failed takedown attempts. That's what you want to see when you're trying to study film, It's that's the things that you could learn from. But Gamrot is so tenacious with it. The only person that comes close to him in my book that I like watching like that is Gregor Gillespie.
Yeah.
It's people that are so intense on going for those takedowns over and over again. But what makes Gamrot different is the way he changed the takedowns together. There's if you're watching film on him and you're getting ready to fight him, there's no single takedown that looks the same. Every single one of his takedowns looks absolutely random. It looks like he's scrambling every time, but at the highest level, if you know the sport, you know damn well that he's not just scrambling. He's trained those patterns before. It's just we don't have enough film on him to see how it is. So man, I really, really like Gamrot. With that being said, too, Beneil Dariush is an OG. And ever since Beneil got with Giga, his striking got a lot better too. But it's just I really think Gamrot is he's starting to have a stride, man. I'm a big Gamrot fan, so that might be diluting my pick a little bit. But yeah, I'm gonna be picking Gamrot for sure.
Would you say Gamrot decision, or you reckon he's gonna get?
Yeah. I'll say Gamrot decision. I don't think he's gonna tap Beneil. No. Beneil's a legit jiu-jitsu guy. Some people might not be familiar with his jiu-jitsu background, but his jiu-jitsu is legit.
All right.
Next up is the bantamweight fight between TJ and Sterling. Battle of two really shit blokes. Really difficult to pick between these two, not because of skill at all, but because they're both just horrible blokes. Unfortunately, Aljo's really, really tried his best to prove that to everyone this week. Anyway, that's another story. As much as I'd like TJ to win this, I just think that Aljo is just too slick on the ground. I think that TJ just can't afford to make any mistakes, any little slip-ups, and Aljo gets to his back, and I think he'll finish him. I'm predicting a rear naked choke finish in the fourth, and still, unfortunately, but I hope I'm wrong.
All right. I mean, some really good picks once again. Yeah. Exciting picks. I'm a big fan of anyone who speaks fondly of Beneil Dariush, to be honest. But Sadiq Youssef, though, how insightful is that guy? This is what I mean. When it comes to fighters picking fighters, no one picks fighters like fighters pick fighters. They have a full insight. They've been in the octagon. They understand the stresses on the body. They understand the weight cuts. They understand the disciplines. So when it comes to sort of finding out a bit more about, I don't know. I feel like, in my opinion,
it's just obviously the insight there. No takedown is the same. Every takedown is a different way, and it's a good way to look at it because it's so true. Obviously, look at the different amount of takedowns and different style of takedowns he did against Chookagian.
Yeah,
so
true.
Interesting.
Any comments there on the chat?
Yeah, we just welcome in Nolan, buddy. Welcome in
Nolan. Let's get that chat up.
He goes, all right, fellas. I've got Beneil in this fight. Maybe a bit heart over head though, as Beneil seems such a sound dude. Hope you guys are doing good. Oh, we're fantastic, mate. We're even better now you're in the chats. I hope you mean Beneil Dariush when you say Benny.
Yeah. I mean, most likely. Good old Benny. I mean, he's probably on first name basis now. Known him that well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's just such an interesting fight, man. Obviously, Dariush has been out for a while. Obviously, I think it was a broken leg, right? Or a broken ankle.
Well, last year he didn't have, when he last fought, he didn't have, I think he just gave birth. Well, he didn't give birth, but he just fathered a child, I mean, he's gone for a lot.
Obviously, he got injured, didn't he?
Yeah, then there's an injury as well. I think it was in training or something like that. But I did remember him saying in his post-fight speech that he wanted to take some, he's not rushed, he's not pressed, he just wants to spend time with his newborn. So look, it makes sense, he's that's it.
Quite
excited. I was actually listening to a press conference a bit earlier about him flying over here, and he was just saying how bliss it was, you know, taking the flight and the plane and stuff. But, you know, you got to think about those things. 15-hour flights for him. And you got to take a
it's
newborn.
a bit of a tough one, yeah.
1-year-old, yeah. Hectic. But look, let's get into this breakdown, right?
Let's get into it. This one's a hard one.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the likes of Sadiq Youssef talking about the takedown abilities here. So let's have a quick glance over at grappling.
While you just said takedown, I heard an interesting stat during the week.
Go on.
Where Beneil Dariush has not been taken down in over 4 years.
Okay.
I'm not sure how accurate that is, but I did hear it during the week.
To be honest, let's say 3 years because he's not fought for a year.
Well, yeah, all right, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But like,
so we scratch 1 year off there already.
I saw a stat as well, which apparently Gamrot goes for like 2 takedowns per minute or attempts 2 takedowns per minute. So this is going to be so interesting, man.
Yeah, I mean that fight. Sadiq was saying that last fight he had against Sarukin. In my opinion, I think Sarukin won that fight. I mean, I'm opinionated today, apparently, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's there was a lot of takedowns there as well, but it almost canceled each other out. It almost
they did
cancel each other out when it came to it. You know, it just really. That's why I thought whoever was better in the stand up would surely be the person who gets the fight. But you know, Sarukin was just fantastic at finding his feet again. And look, I think someone like Beneil Dariush, if he gets a better hand on a takedown and it's on the ground and he's on top, I mean,
he'd be more dominant on top than Sarukin was, in my opinion.
Yeah. It'll be threatening. It'll be threatening those submissions, and he might even get a reaction out of Gamrot in doing so. But generally, I think he's gonna make the passes. He's fantastic at making those passes when the fight's on the ground. So whether he's gonna still have that same ability against someone as high level as Gamrot, it's tough to say. It is tough to say. But where does this fight take place? Is my question to you. And who dictates where that takes place? Tough question. It's not an easy one. I didn't say it's easy.
I think Gamrot, just because of how explosive he is, will dictate where this fight goes. Just because I think he's going to be he's going to be more quicker than Dariush, but obviously Dariush's experience will, obviously, like you said, will get him through. I think obviously the early segments of the round, obviously the first round, and then, like you said, if Dariush can get a hold of him and maybe get a trip or something, and just to get a little standpoint of the round, then Dariush can get into his groove. But yeah, I think the Gamrot will try and make it his fight. Yeah.
Okay. Dariush is a nice guy, and it's hard to see him in the violent capacity, isn't it? He's just such a nice guy.
Let's get those numbers.
Yeah, okay, let's get the gauges up. But I was going to say in terms of striking, but we can do that while we're looking at the gauges, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
So here's the gauges now. Striking, who does that go to? I'm going to go Dariush, because Dariush is an explosive. When you said Gamrot's explosive,
Dariush
is an explosive striker. Gamrot is explosive at, shooting for takedowns.
Striking.
Oh, come on, I'm going Dariush.
Right,
let me have it.
All right, I'll let you have it then. Go on.
Yeah.
Go on, let you have it. Go on.
And all the rest of them can go Dariush as well. No, go on. Who's next? So we've got grappling. Okay, I guess we would say
this is where it's tough, because like we say, a lot of people, if you've just tuned in, will see the gi and think, right, submission game has got to go Dariush.
Yeah.
But this is where, like, obviously I know Dariush goes for the takedown as well as Gamrot would.
Yeah.
But because Dariush does go for the takedowns as well as Gamrot, but Dariush is more of a threat on the ground than Gamrot, in my opinion, I would give it to Dariush.
Right. Yeah.
In terms of like takedowns, Gamrot would probably get the takedowns, but just because Dariush would do more of it, I'm going to go Dariush.
I would go. This is wild, actually, because as much as I'd love to take that, I would go Mateusz on the grappling. Treating this more like grappling more so than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You know what I mean? So you're right in terms of the threat being in Dariush's side when it's on the floor and submission-wise, but in terms of the grappling and who's going to initiate and who's going to be forcing those exchanges.
Gamrot will, yeah. I agree with that. He will obviously force the exchanges and stuff, but I think if Beneil gets a hold of him or he does get that standpoint, he will make it his own. And I think he may be a little bit more wiser, a little bit stronger than Gamrot.
Right. Okay. So where do we go? Red or blue?
I've got to go Dariush, man.
All right. Fighter A gets it. Okay, so next one, Power. Power.
But it's obviously you look at both of them and you think, oh, Gamrot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Gamrot though.
No, it's Dariush for Power. You sure?
Really?
Yeah, bro. Right. I mean, this is. I would have gone the complete opposite.
I'll tell you what. If you're in the chats, who are we going for? Noland, if you're there. Stoney, if you're there. Who's got Power out of Dariush or Gamrot?
You see, the way that Dariush throws his hands, they're looping shots, they're out wide. You know, Mateusz's hands are quite controlled, so there's only going to be an amount of
yeah. All right. To be fair, Gamrot's got more of a kicking game than Dariush.
Yeah. That too.
All right, I'll let you off. Go on.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give him. I have given the power to Gamrot. Did you want to?
Oh no! I take it off Gamrot. Give it to Dariush.
Dariush gets power. That's what I do. I fight for my boys. All right. Next one, speed. Speed. Okay, I'll go for Gamrot on this one.
Gamrot. Yeah.
And then cardio.
I'm going to go Dariush because I've seen more. Obviously, we've seen more of him go the distance. I know, obviously, I know Gamrot.
He's coming for 5. He's coming for 5.
I know he is. It's true.
And then when's the last time?
And to be fair, he did look good. He did look good in that fight as well. All right. Cool, you're swindling me here. Swindler.
Hey, mate, just call me Simon. But yeah, look. Okay, look. These are respectable numbers. This looks decent. My only stick with this one is I probably would have switched on grappling and potentially cardio. But otherwise, yeah, I would have gone 2 for 3 for sure. I do like Beneil's chances here, and I believe I'll be going Beneil on the night too. What about you?
On the night, I don't know. I really don't know. Honestly, it's so tough just because of how experienced and how good at his control is that Dariush is. But obviously, Gamrot's a wildcat, man.
Oh yeah,
and he's just so dangerous. I know, obviously, I'm not disregarding Dariush is dangerous, but it's just, you know what I mean. Obviously, we just saw the fighters just big up Gamrot. So
yeah,
you know
true. Yeah, they speak highly of the guy.
Open him up I mean, that's what I mean.
This is something that really baked my noodle when I looked at this page. I was just like, Gamrot's not 21-1.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, the guy's actually sicker than I thought. But yeah, and then Dariush, I just seen his skill set and ability, and I just feel like, I guess my question is, why isn't Mateusz Gamrot up here sooner? You know?
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, cardio, I'm gonna have to go Gamrot. Yeah.
All right, we'll get into the next fight on the card, shall we? This one,
yeah, go
on. Is of course the O'Malley versus
Petr versus Sean O'Malley.
There it is. Now, quite an interesting fight, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because
yes.
Here's the thing. When this first of all happened, my initial thoughts on this was, what's happening? What's going on? I mean, who even said they wanted this? Like,
it's true.
I didn't hear anyone. I didn't hear any beef. I didn't hear anything like sort of being like working up, or it just came out of the blue and happened. How can you have someone who's number 12, number 11 in the division fighting someone who's number 1?
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
not
crazy.
even tested against the top 10 yet. I mean, that's what you have gatekeepers for, to sort of whittle out this sort of, but you know, that's where Dana White privilege comes in, right?
Yeah, but he's won the lottery. O'Malley has won the lottery, honestly. Because if he goes in there and beats Petr, he's in there for a title shot. But this is the thing for me. This is, again, obviously, I'm going to go stylistically, like I gave you a little stat to do with, obviously, Gamrot on Dariush.
Yeah.
We all know that Petr likes to start slow.
Yeah.
And we all know Sean O'Malley starts quick.
Yeah.
This is a 3-round fight.
Right.
Is Petr going to switch it up and go, right, I need to start quick?
I mean,
that's the thing. So if he comes out there and starts slow, O'Malley could pick him apart. And obviously, we all know how good O'Malley's footwork is.
Yeah.
And how quick he is and how unorthodox he is with different strikes from here, there, everywhere.
Yeah.
This is what I mean.
Do you remember his last fight, Petr? It was just against Aljo. It was just that first round. If he didn't take it off, I reckon he could have won.
But that's what I mean. That's what I think. That's what everyone's saying. If he didn't take that round off.
Yeah, it was so close. And it was that first round, which strategically he forfeited because, you know, it's what he does.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He gave it up, but he didn't expect at the end of the fight, he actually needed that one back. Yeah, but, you know, in hindsight. But let's see what the people had to say about it, and then we can come on right back. How about that?
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Let's check it out.
So I was just looking at the question.
Next up is
and then the fight,
bantamweight fight between TJ and Sterling. Battle of two really shit blokes. Really difficult to pick between these two, not because of skill at all, but because They're both just horrible blokes.
Should be a great
unfortunately,
card.
Aljo's
Have a great time, guys. Looking forward to the show.
Next up
speak to.
is the bantamweight fight between TJ and Sterling.
And then for the O'Malley-Yam fight, expecting the Sugar Show, unfortunately, to be cancelled this weekend. I think Yan's power is going to be too much for him. I think he'll systematically shut down Sean to get the win via TKO. Should be a great card. Have a great time, guys. Looking forward to the show and speak soon.
But speaking of Yan, he's going to be fighting Sean O'Malley also on that card. So Petr Yan versus Sean O'Malley, how's that going to turn out? Any opinions there?
Petr Yan.
Petr Yan's, yeah?
I think Sean is very good, and I'm a fan of Sean, but I don't think he's fought high level like Petr Yan yet. So just because of that, now Petr Yan has fought higher level than Sean. I'm going to go with Petr Yan because of the experience. But at the same time, I'm not too big on that. Like, I hate when I fight someone and they're like, oh, she has more experience. Like, for me, the experience doesn't really matter. But at that high of level, I just haven't seen Sean get tested, really. And the one lost, I'm not a fan of how he doesn't take that loss. Like, I took my loss, my UFC debut, whatever, I took the L, and I owned it. He's owning it, and he got beat up. And so, yeah, I think Petr Yan.
Yeah.
Could be a hard.
What about the next fight on the card, which is Petr Yan, and he's going to be up against Sean O'Malley? How's that going to plan out?
That's going to be a man.
What do you think?
You know what?
Is it going to go to distance? Are they going to get to a decision or?
I don't think. If it does go to distance, Yan will win because Sugar Sean does fade out in like the 4th, 5th round. He does kind of slow down because he's fucking. He throws some fucking hits, man.
We're talking 3-round fight this one, though, right?
Long.
It'll be a 3-round.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what? Because
it's not a 5-round.
Yeah, because this one would be third on the card. Third on the card.
Oh, you're right.
Does that change things? Yeah. It's stacked though. I mean, I did think this could have probably warranted there.
Oh, then I think I'm gonna have to give it to Sugar, man. I've doubted him so many.
That changes.
I've doubted him a lot, and I think that that kid's just fucking striking. He's on a different level, man, with his striking, and I think that's gonna create huge problems with Yan. He's got a lot of speed, man, and I think Yan's gonna end up running to some punches.
Yeah.
If he can avoid getting leg kicked, he's gonna.
He's got kind of similar distance management to like a Conor McGregor, for example. You know.
All right, man, we're back.
Yeah,
and
you see, switching it up, old Gonzalez. So I mean, like I say, obviously O'Malley starts quick, Petr Yan starts slow.
Look, this
3-round fight.
This was it. He was adamant. He was like, Jan's going to have this because, he thought that Sean O'Malley's going to flake in the later rounds. As soon as he found out it was a 3-round fight, he was like, oh, well, that changes things. But here's something I put to you as well, right? This fight would have had to be agreed by both fighters. That's Yan and also Sean. So Sean must have said, yeah, I'll fight this guy. I'll do this. and also Yan was like, yeah,
He's won the lottery.
He has. But even he had a chance to have first right foot. He could have said no. And it could have come of any excuse, and this fight could never have happened. So the fact that this is happening, Sean O'Malley, in my opinion, sees something maybe we don't.
But this is the thing. Like this, stylistically, is a perfect matchup for him, and this is why I've been having a lot of thought about this fight over the week. And it's a perfect fight for him because Petr Yan isn't one of them fighters that will take him to the deep waters. He may stand up and pressure him and try and wear him that way by pressuring him. But
he's not going to let him escape.
But you think of the footwork of O'Malley. He may he obviously knows. Surely he must know that Petr Yan's going to push forward, get in his face. He must know that he's got to use his lateral movement, get out of. Obviously, once he hits that cage or that black line, bosh, you're out of there. Use your lateral movement back to the center, and then pick Yan apart again.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. This is why I'm so torn in this fight now, because if it was a wrestler, then that's when it gets difficult, because obviously we've never seen O'Malley tested in them sort of waters yet.
Well, look, here's something as well. Here's something I've got to say. I mean, he's not been tested against the top 10, let alone top 5. And here he is fighting number 1. But, you know, I got to say something about it as well is I think his movement is going to come into question far sooner than his hand's going to.
Yes.
This fight's going to be down to his ability to move because Jan's fantastic at it. We see how Jan goes from southpaw to orthodox.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It's just plodding
and he
forward.
covers so much distance so as well. So he sort of shadows you. He tracks you to a T. He's on you and he doesn't let you escape. And then when he sort of initiates his striking, he'll strike first out of an orthodox position, and then he'll end in a southpaw position. In which case he's propelled. He doesn't reset his stance at all. He sort of uses that sort of stance switch to break the guard to get right into the pocket. And unless Sean O'Malley knows how to have the footwork to evade those situations, not let Jan get comfortable enough to do that.
But that's the
His
thing.
hands aren't going to matter.
That's why this first round is so important. And obviously, as I will keep mentioning while we're on this fight, it's a 3-round fight. And if O'Malley starts well and doesn't let Jan get into that groove, this could be an interesting fight. But what I will say is a perfect example of this fight is when Jan took on Corey Sandhagen. And Corey Sandhagen's a great striker, just like O'Malley. And look what Jan did to Corey Sandhagen. But I know that fight was 5 rounds. And obviously, different aspects of it. And obviously, Petr Yan may look at this fight differently because it's a 3-round and he may start quicker.
Yeah.
Who knows? But we'll get to a few chats just quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nolan's back on it. Welcome back. He says, I think that this will be a great matchup. Maybe a bit early for Sugar Sean, but the boy has got the skills. Yan is super tough, though. Yeah, totally agree. Yan could be that one step too much because, like you said, the jump is incredible. But again, he's won a lottery with this one. And stylistically, if he uses his footwork, he could get out of this fight with a decision win, in my eyes. Yes, welcome in, Tally Young. Welcome in, buddy.
What's up? Thanks for chiming in, buddy.
It's a pretty interesting scenario because if Sugar Sean wins, everyone will be shocked, and if Sugar loses, they will say it is too early for him.
That's a good point.
And he goes, "I'm going with Jan."
What does he have to lose?
That's what I'm saying. If he loses, bosh, he's back to the drawing board. He doesn't lose his rank.
Yeah.
And he goes back to the drawing board. He learns from that loss against the top caliber guy in Jan, and he moves on in the division. So again, we got is that laid down? Welcome to Laytown. Welcome in, buddy. He says yes, the boys.
Love it. Yeah. Thanks for chiming in.
Yeah, we'll get to the numbers on this one.
Yeah, light up the chats, guys. Let's hear your opinions. In a second, we're going to talk about who gets what power striking those gauges. Yes. I think it's time to get into it real soon. But just quickly looking at quick glance at the numbers, significant strike-wise, it's hard to say where the difference is. I think in the grappling ability, we're going to say that, it's Petr Yan who's got that. You know, he has the ability there. And the numbers here support that. So that's going to help us out when we get to those gauges. Shall we have a look at them?
Yes, dive in.
All right. So striking, who's going to have that?
You got to go Petr.
I know.
You got to.
But here I am thinking, if there's anything Sean O'Malley's going to have. Yeah,
that is true. I will give you that. If anything he will get, it's going to be striking. But Petr Yan's boxing is so good, man. And
yeah, okay, you're right. Do you know what it is about? No, it is about striking as well. It's not just your hands; it's your feet.
But you say that, yeah. That's when you could, a lot of people think, well, yeah, Yan gets it. But then, like you've just said, this is MMA. And O'Malley does use a lot of kicks, a lot of teak kicks. And obviously, leg kicks. He does have great leg kicks.
I love those question mark kicks. They look pretty sexy, don't they? Just nice.
Yeah. He says it's Josh, by the way. Oh, yes, Josh.
Oh, what's good, Josh? Yeah. What's up, man? How are you doing? How are you?
And he says O'Malley keeps Yan at distance with the kicks. Yes, it's
useful.
True. It's a great point. It's a great point, buddy.
He's gonna have to. He's got to move well, and he's got to not let Yan have his way, or sort of dictate his rhythm or get into his groove. I think. Yeah, you're right.
And then welcome in the man you never see. Welcome in, buddy. What a great name.
The man you never see.
What time is the Islam fight in the UK? It will probably be around.
It's gonna be 5, 6 p.m.
9. No, because the main card starts at 7, right? Or 6.
Oh, okay, right.
Main card starts at 7, so it'll probably be about 9 p.m. UK time, probably.
Yeah.
Depends how quickly the card goes. It might a little bit a bit early.
Could be. I thought it started at 6.
Yeah, me personally, I'm going to
be doing the whole coverage from 3 p.m.
Yes, we're doing the whole card. We're going live for the whole card. So
yeah.
You know what I mean? We've got you. We've got you.
Sorry, Ash, I interrupted you.
No, don't you worry. No, I'm going to have to go Petr Yan.
Yeah.
gonna have to. I can't not.
Okay, striking for Petr Yan, grappling Petr Yan as well.
Petr Yan as well, yeah.
Power. I would say, I don't know. Let's have a quick look here at knockouts.
Well, I suppose O'Malley's got that.
O'Malley's got more knockouts.
He's one punched, obviously.
We're gonna have to say.
I can't remember his name now. Wineland, that's the one.
Right, yeah.
Eddie Wineland, one punched him.
I mean, you're talking about level of competition again, aren't you? But at the same time,
stop using that. Don't use that word. Don't use that word. don't use that word.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. In terms of, do you know what? It's a matter of time before it came up in the show, didn't it? It's a matter of time.
yeah, it probably was, to be honest, mate. Well, O'Malley's fought the who's in this division, so yeah. not a top 10 guy.
No. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, last week's watch along, Ash and I got into a massive debate. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. If you want to watch it, go check that back out. But power then. I want to go with Sean O'Malley on power.
Yeah, go on. I'll give it. Yeah. He's got to have something, and if anything, to be fair,
and speed too.
Speed 100% goes to O'Malley. Yeah.
Sorry on that was. And then cardio. Yeah, I would certainly sit on that.
Yeah, I'll sit on Yan. It's been 5 rounds more times. So let's get to back to the chats. Taylor Young's chimed in. He's gone. Yan is a class MMA boxer and a dangerous striker in general. He sometimes tends to rely on the boxing too much. I'd give striking to Yan, but I'd give some credit to Sean using more kicks. 100%. This is why we do get stuck, like, you sort of analysing this, because like Sai said, like, this is MMA. And we don't see that many kicks. I know Yan does throw kicks, don't get me wrong, but the teak kicks, as Josh mentions as well, they're going to be key in this fight. But I just think that Yan's so more technical than O'Malley. But you got to give O'Malley credit.
You have to. And maybe he's seen something, a weakness in the game. I don't know what it is.
That's what I mean. You said it in one. He's had to have seen something to accept this fight. Like you said, he could have taken...
Surely.
They were protecting him for so long.
Yeah.
For him to see, like, he's probably gone, right, Jan's a stand-up guy. I'm quicker than him. I can use my footwork. I'm going to try and piece him up. It's a 3-round fight. Let's go. And that's the only thing I can see. O'Malley has to be working on his cardio, has to be working on his footwork. As Josh said, teak kicks down to the body, keeping his range.
Surely.
He's got the reach advantage in this fight. Has he? Has he got the reach advantage?
The reach in this fight. Let's have a quick look.
I bet it's quite close, actually.
You're right, actually. It's got to be. It has to be. It was... Oh, yeah. No, we didn't even touch on that. It's 72 inches against 67. So, he's got a whole 5 inches.
So again, he's got to use that. He's got to use that to his advantage. Like we said earlier about Katlyn Chookagian. She's perfect at doing that range. And O'Malley needs to do that with Petr Yan. And obviously, this is where I've actually switched so many times on this fight. But obviously, Petr Yan is a dog. And it doesn't matter. I don't think no matter what O'Malley throws at him, he will still march forward.
Yeah.
But like I said, if O'Malley keeps keeps it at bay, I think he could actually sneak a decision.
Oh, that's bold. That's bold.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I could.
I could get a lot of hate for that, but like, this is what I'm saying.
It's strong to say. I mean,
it is.
It makes it an exciting fight because it's like, oh yeah, no, I mean, this is Jan's fight all day long. But what if? And there is an element of what if that is actually quite credible in this fight, and the way that the odds are matched up at the moment on this as well. I mean, you're talking. A massive 305 minus 305 for Yan to plus 255 for Sean O'Malley. Some people think those odds should be closer.
Yeah, so, Josh chiming in there saying it was Almeida as well that he dropped. He did drop Almeida as well. Yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, nice one, Josh.
Sean O'Malley. Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Yeah, that's why I think Power definitely should have gone to O'Malley. Yeah.
All right, let's get into the co-main, shall we?
Oh, we're there already, are we?
Yeah, we are there, in and amongst it. So we're talking about Aljamain Sterling versus TJ Dillashaw now.
Cheat. That's what he said on the press conference.
Yeah, that's what he called himself, right?
EPO.
I mean, he's a different man now. I mean, here it is. We see him come back off EPO, and we did have this huge debate on his return, right? Thinking,
he's
going to have a huge. It's a whole mental struggle with himself, isn't it? Because you got to now sort of figure out whether my performance was down to my using or down to my actual ability. And he had to struggle with that. And so this is him really proving it to himself. So I think he's got a lot to win and a lot to prove in this fight.
Oh, 100%.
The same way Aljamain Sterling had a lot to prove in his last fight against Petr Yan, I think. I said at the beginning of the year when we did our picks, I said, and I changed my pick halfway through the year, so I don't know how valid it is, but I did say initially that, Aljamain Sterling, just because his hunger to prove everyone wrong in the whole narrative that happened in the first fight against Yan, he's going to come back and whoop his ass this time out. And the whole idea was the fact that he's got all this time training for this fight. Now, I continue to say that he is going to do that, but when it comes to fighting TJ Dillashaw, he wouldn't have prepared as much for that fight. And I feel like he's going to build himself to beat Yan, but he won't be built for TJ Dillashaw. And that was my initial opinion at the beginning of the year. And I wonder if...
what, you think TJ is going to beat Sterling?
Yeah, maybe. I said at the beginning of the year, I said that. Whether I stick with it, I don't know yet.
Touching on that, Josh goes, TJ lost to Sanhagen. I hope Aljo chins him first round.
Yeah, come on, Josh. Okay, he wants to see some hurt put onto TJ.
Yeah.
But that would be brilliant. All right, okay. So let's have a look here at the people's picks, and we can fire straight back in.
Listen in.
In the co-main, definitely going with a heart over head pick, back in TJ to get the win via decision. Expecting this one to be a battle of attrition, really. Probably TJ edging it just.
Earlier on in the show, you said Aljamain Sterling. You kind of pick him against TJ Dillashaw. But how do you think it's going to go down?
So how I think it's gonna go down, I have no idea. I'm just hating. I'm just hating because Dillashaw is a cheater.
Yeah.
So how it's gonna go is I'm gonna put my hands together and summon Shenron the dragon and tell him I wish for Aljamain to win, and Aljamain is gonna win. So, but a path that I see Aljamain to win is the way there are things that Aljamain does really, really good. You know, his striking might look a little bit awkward, but because of the amount of volume and the randomness of his strikes, it's hard to get a pace on him, especially since he's constantly attacking. And his attack pattern doesn't really make sense, you know? And not that it's good or bad. It's just, it doesn't make sense for like a typical like striking style. He might throw a snap kick and double jab you, you know? he might knee you in the knee and throw a flying knee and spin a back fist afterwards, you know? But it's so random and all over the place that when he finally gets you to start trying to like piece together what he's doing, he's already grabbing you, and he's so good at getting people to show their back. You know, that's how he got Sanhagen. Sanhagen is a hell of a fighter, but he must be strong as shit. Like if I had to guess, I'd probably guess like he's strong as hell. You know. So I feel like if he could get TJ to expose his back, it's gonna look the same way that it looks against all these fighters. He's really good at that back take.
Yeah, some great points there as well. Yeah,
I like that.
Next up, we have Gamrot.
And TJ's a cheater. Don't forget that.
And he's a cheater. Yeah.
Slip that in there anytime.
Next up, we have Gamrot versus Dariush. Wow, this is a super interesting fight. Both really high-level grapplers. I think like the main event, this is a real coin toss. I'm really looking forward to that fight. Really don't know. I can't pick someone. I think Dariush could always finish him with his wily hands. Those big frying pan mitts of his. But just for this, I need to make predictions. So I think Beneil will take a close fought decision, and I think.
All right, and we're back.
Interesting stuff.
That was, So basically, that's a breakdown from. So look, I think again, Sadiq Youssef, great with the analytics on that one as well. I think it is genius to think that. I mean, he just doesn't like.
He doesn't like him at all.
Let's be honest. You can either get into like the breakdown and just be proper immaculate with like your detail and everything, or you can just like really not like someone.
Yeah, when we spoke to him, there was a lot of obviously, but like me personally as well, I was a massive fan of. Well, to be fair, I still am a kind of fan of TJ. Obviously, I don't like what he done, but I'll get to your comment in a minute, Manon, because he said what I'm literally about to say. I'm a fan of his fighting style, but obviously the cheating aspect of it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of it, obviously, but yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah. wasn't ideal. And what about in terms of what he's able to do in this fight?
This is the thing as well.
We had a few people thinking. I just saying we were having a few people thinking that he's going to come into this fight and he's going to have the power advantage, or it's going to be the wrestling from Aljamain Sterling is going to be troublesome. I mean, you got so many things to look at there. I mean, we're looking here at it's in terms of on paper, someone like TJ Dillashaw has done so much wrestling. Yeah. But if you look at how it's been applied in actual combat, Aljamain's got more of that.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion. So,
yeah.
It's dicey. It is dicey.
It is a dicey matchup because obviously a lot of people, like you've just mentioned there, mate, is they will think, right, if Aljo can do what he did to Jan, what's he going to do to TJ? But that's where it gets dicey because I think he can stuff a couple of takedowns from Aljo. And obviously we all know how relentless Aljo is. This is a 5-round fight. And I think if TJ can stuff a couple and make him pay for trying to go for these takedowns, it could pay dividends.
Yeah, true. Should we look at the grappling numbers here then in terms of takedown defense? Oh, now look what you got to deal with here. TJ Dillashaw's got 86% takedown defense versus Aljamain Sterling's 41%. On the average, Aljamain's exceeding that just by a smidge. But the difference here is it's in the takedown defense. You know, none of these guys are massively submitting people. You know, they're not putting people away by submission or anything like that. Let's have a look at wins by subs, 17% each a pop. You know, you're talking about the TKO ability now or knockout.
Dillashaw all day long.
Yeah, and you talk about something like this.
Most in the division, or tied most in the division.
Yeah, the guy's got some power there.
Yes,
and I think this is why a lot of people had initially sided with him. But you know, then you can put it down to the fact he was using and all that sort of thing as well.
Well, but that's the thing. Obviously, the EPOs are only mainly for like your cardio.
Right. But you know, you still have that power for longer.
Oh yeah.
You know.
True.
Well, look, here we go. It's an interesting matchup. My question to you, Ash, would be, where does it take place? You know, because looking at it, takedown defense for someone like TJ Dillashaw is pretty impressive. And is he able to keep Aljamain standing in front of him long enough for him to put him away with the hands, or is he going to go to full distance? Yeah,
that's the thing as well. Just get into a few chats before I do quickly. Nolan back in saying, I think Aljo would beat Jan. So what do I know? TJ to win though. Taylor Young chiming back in. I don't like either, but I'd probably rather Aljo win over totally juiced Dildo Shaw. Dildo Raw. Nolan back in. I'm a massive fan of TJ's fighting style. That's what I was saying, but not the choice of his arse check placed injections. Yeah, so that's what I mean. I was a massive fan of TJ before. Obviously, he done all that, but yeah.
I mean, this could be a good matchup because from what I've heard, I mean...
Well, he likes coming on people's asses.
There you go. You beat me to it, but you read my mind. Exactly. Aljamain's all over that. He's all over that.
He's all like, what? You're injecting your ass? I'm coming all over that ass.
You better watch out, bro. Well, look, this is
He'd be injecting something into his ass.
You went there. You fully went there. I didn't see that one, but yeah, clever.
Striking.
Clever.
Yeah, it's going to go for Dillashaw for me.
Yeah. Okay. So you think Dillashaw, if it stays standing, Dillashaw has the advantage. If it goes to the ground, then Aljamain's going to be able to be fluid enough to sort of make a pass, but strength as well. So if it's on the ground, it's always like, Dillashaw's a strong guy.
Yeah.
But he's an older guy. I mean, what's his age now? He's getting on, right?
I think he's 34. I think. Let's have a little look.
Yeah, he's getting on anyway. But if you look at the odds here, you got minus 174 Aljamain Sterling, and then you got plus 145 for Dillashaw. So far, I think I've just loved the underdogs in this card because for this one, I'm tempted to go Dillashaw because I just...
Yeah, it's I mean, like I think if as I said a second ago, if TJ can keep the fight standing and stuff them takedowns and put his statement on with his footwork and his striking, but what I will say is what I've seen as of late is Sterling. He does have weird striking. Like I think Youssef mentioned how weird his striking is.
Yeah,
just how unorthodox and weird angles and just how weird it is. Again, that could play into his hands. Just how like he throws different combos at different times and
he's
things.
He's a funk master. You know? He's a funk master. He's gonna funk it up. But answer me this actually, because I just had a bit of a brain fart, I think. But Dillashaw, he, how long has he been back in the UFC? And how many fights has he had before he's now staring down a barrel of a belt? 2?
No, he's only he went down. He went down to flyweight, lost, and then went obviously back, and then obviously got popped, and then come back.
And when he came, so he's had 1 since coming back.
Yeah.
After his 2-year ban.
Yeah.
And he's right back in contention in the second fight. Is that fair? I don't know. Some people might argue.
It's one of them. To be fair, this bantamweight division is fucking Shark Tank. So you know what I mean. Anyone could have stepped up there, but I think it's because he never lost the belt.
Right. Yeah.
So because he got stripped from him, didn't it? So yeah.
So to come in at his top end is kind of it's not exactly back where he left off. I mean, he has taken a bit of a penny going down a bit, but yeah, it's still impressive. And to be fair, you look at a level. I'm not even going to say it, but if you're looking at how competitive he is coming into this, who else is it going to be, right? Who else is it going to be?
It's true. That's what I mean. Obviously, grappling's going to have to go to Aljo, though.
Grappling to Aljo. Oh, we've got striking here.
Striking, Dillashaw.
Teddy Young is saying striking, power, cardio, although how much was from EPO and probably speed of for Dillashaw. Okay, so Teddy Young's getting a head start on the tracking here, but he thinks, just have a quick look at that. We're going striking for Aljo.
Striking for Aljo. No.
You don't think so?
No. Striking, I'll give it to TJ.
Really? You give striking to TJ?
Yeah, well, you would give it to Sterling?
Yeah, he's the funk master. Like, he's got loads of different weird angle strikes. And it's a problem. It's a problem. But to be fair...
In terms of level of comp...
I was going to go power for TJ. But all right.
Yeah, power still TJ for me.
Yeah, TJ gets power. Okay, grappling.
Aljamain.
Sterling.
Just because, this is the thing. I'm saying he uses it more. It's just because I've not seen TJ use it as of late. And he's not needed to.
Yeah. And then speed for Aljamain as well.
Oh, this is where it could get dicey. Obviously, Dillashaw's fast as well, man.
He is, but and it's hard as well. I can't even. Who are you gonna get? I'll go cardio for Dillashaw, I think.
Yeah, cardio for Dillashaw because we saw how tired Aljo got in the first fight with Jan.
Yeah, incredibly. Which is why I give him speed because he was just quite fast in that fight, and he just burnt himself too quickly. However, that second fight come back, he was quite measured, which was intelligent. And obviously it got him the win.
Yeah. All right.
But does that make sense?
No, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, no, that's how that breaks down. Now, who would you go with on the night? Because
on the night, I'm going TJ.
TJ, because the way this is sizing up, it could be TJ. He gets it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's have a look at the next final card. We're in the main event now. Boy, we're at pace. Look at it steaming through this. All right. Addicted to Combat is chiming in here. What's up? Hey, Patrick. What's up, bro? It's always good to see you, man. Always good to see you. Just getting out of work, reporting live from the car side. Oh, that's
where you going?
Where are you heading, bro? Where are you heading? That's what I mean.
Just got home now, though.
Absolutely. When you're in the car, just like, yeah, I'm just so curious. I'm so curious. I just want to carpool with you, bro. That's what I want to do. I want to carpool with Patrick.
I want to be in the back of that car and listen to you talk all day.
Yeah, I know, right? The guy's just wise beyond his years.
I love it. Right, the main event time. Let's go.
We're there. Okay, we're talking about Charles Oliveira and we're talking about Islam Makhachev. Like these guys are the reason why we are here. Why we're not going as far as say why we're breathing, but but we've been looking forward to this for such a long time, and they've brought something back to the UFC that we haven't seen in such a long time. It's that animosity. It's that sort of excitement. Like I was saying to you just before we went live, Ash, that the MMA community have been gurning for this fight for so long. Yeah, bro. Honestly. Like they couldn't even keep their panties on when they got the first bit of content coming out of Dubai.
Yeah.
Earlier this week, we saw Islam Makhachev just simply walk past Charles Oliveira and
literally it was all over my Twitter. It
blew up. The amount of things we were talking about it. I mean, it wasn't like, Paddy chucked a soap bottle at Taporia, nothing happened. But people were just creating all sorts of different theories out of it. So yeah, honestly, the MMA community couldn't wait for this. And now there's plenty of content out there. People don't have to sort of like, make up all sort of crazy theories over just a tiny bit of someone walking down the corridor, you know what I mean? But But I love it still. You know, the press conference, you got to sort of see that as well. Like that was animosity, that was fire. I think we're just seeing the makings of just what's going to be a beautiful event when it comes around. And I'm so glad we're doing a full 6-hour watch along for it.
Exciting stuff, mate. Exciting stuff.
Not going to miss a thing. All right.
Let's go picks.
So people's picks, yeah? Should I get into it and come back?
Go on.
All right, let's do it. Be right back. .280 is coming up. The main event, Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira himself. What is your thoughts on the outcome on there? Do you think Islam's going to do what it takes, or is Charles going to reclaim the belt?
I think if anyone is going to beat Charles, it's going to be Islam. That's for sure. I'm a big fan of Charles, but also a big fan of Islam. And that Dagestanian wrestling is no joke. And honestly, I saw today something on online that he said how all of his last 3 or 4 opponents all knocked him down, but didn't engage into the grappling, which is true. And Islam is not scared of the ground. If anything, that's where he shines. And so, yeah, I think if anyone will beat Charles, it'll be Islam.
Okay, so that's where you are siding on this one. You think Islam's going to do it?
50-50. It's so close.
I'm such a big fan of Charles that I don't want to see him lose. But I just have to go, I think, with Islam.
Well, okay, all right.
Ditto.
Hi guys, looking forward to this weekend's UFC 280 card. Absolutely stacked. Here are my picks. Starting with a main, I think despite being the underdog, I'm backing Charles to get the victory, possibly via a second round sub. I think Charles is one of those fighters. He absolutely loves fighting off of his back. And Islam always has that ground control dominance. But this is the first fight where I think being on the ground could be challenging and really dangerous for him. So going for Charles in that fight.
A few picks on UFC 280, which is coming up this weekend. I guess we should probably start off with. Should we start off with the main event, shall we?
Yes. So my thought on the main event, I've been picking against Oliveira for so long. You know, I feel bad. I don't want to pick against them again. It's just as a fighter, we would always remember what he looked like as a kid, when he used to give up in the octagon. But he's a grown man now. He's no longer a kid anymore. And we've seen him. He's been hurt literally his last 4 or 5 fights. And he never showed any sign of giving up. He's been hurt and literally came back and knocked the person out. But with that still said, I feel bad. I still feel like I want to pick Islam because I remember if you guys know Eve Edwards, shout out to the OG Eve Edwards, he wrote on Twitter, Charles Oliveira is the only MMA fighter that gets 8 counts. And what he means by that is in boxing when they drop him and they give him an 8 count, people always do that to Oliveira. They'll drop him and then they'll literally they'll let him up. They'll give him an 8 count and let him up. And I don't think Islam is gonna do that. If Islam has enough power to knock him down, I feel like Islam's gonna follow him to the ground. And Islam's wrestling is different. The way these Dagestani guys wrestle, they wrestle in a way where it's hard to implement jiu-jitsu on them. So I wouldn't be surprised if Oliveira could knock out Islam either, though. That's why I feel tricky trying to pick it. But guns to my head, I'll pick Islam to win.
All right.
Great.
Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira.
Oh. Go Charles, man. Charles is doing it.
Yeah.
I think his odds are. I feel like the odds are stacked against him, but I feel like that's been his thing.
It's been his uprise, isn't it?
It's hard to compare that with his last fights because he is fighting freaking the Dagestani, basically like Khabib but younger. We'll see, man.
Legitimately, it's a tough one. I think at the beginning of the year, we and the guys, we thought Islam Makhachev was going to be head of the division. We said it was he's going to, and we've seen him do amazing things since, and he's grown. However, I've seen Charles Oliveira be better every single time out.
Yeah.
And I want to change my opinion to Charles Oliveira these guys will send on, but he's impressive and it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
It's hard to go against him now. It's just to touch on what you just said there. It's crazy. Obviously, everyone thought that Poirier was going to do it, hurt him real bad. Everyone thought that Oliveira was one of them guys that wilts under the pressure and obviously beating Dustin, then beating Gaethje as well. It's just the way he's putting these guys away is just impressive.
This is Posh Boy MMA with my against the fence predictions for UFC 280. We have the ladies kicking off the main card. Katlyn Chookagian versus Manon Fiorot. Just like to say, I'm over the moon to see that Beneil is back on the prelims.
Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev. I think Islam Makhachev will win because he is too strong.
Okay, I think we saw some duplicate ones there as well, but
yeah, there may have been a couple of duplicate ones.
A couple of dupes in there, but ultimately, some great breakdowns. I mean, that was like the one where you get the picks come in and people just go ham and they talk till the cows come home. So I did anticipate that one to be particularly long. Those picks from people because there's so much to say about this fight. I mean, people have been looking forward to it for so long. Like I was mentioned before we even went to that little segment about how people have been gunning for it for ages. But look, fundamentally, I feel like there's so much we can get into about this. JK spent a whole, I don't know, however long, breaking down the wrestling of this fight for ages.
Yes,
like 40
it's a tough
minutes,
one.
little segment. So if we were to touch on the wrestling bit, I don't know if we can talk about just 2 minutes alone on it. But
yeah, it's literally, this is the thing for me as well, because there's, like you said, people are going in for this fight. People are so, like, the animosity with this fight. You pick one fighter, literally the world wants to kill you. And you pick that other fighter, the world wants to kill you because you've gone for that fighter. Because literally, you can't have your own opinion on this fight because a lot of people have so much high expectations of that fighter that they think is going to win. That like, this is what I mean. When we get into the gauge, we're going to be getting shot. Because the things that, like, obviously we think is obviously it's going to be blown out of proportion, and obviously I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it. But this is what we love, and this is what I'm saying. This fight is so interesting. Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm one of those people that would be shooting people for saying anything wrong about Charles Oliveira because I love, you hear the fighters there, right? I mean, I love about these fighters that are sending picks. Again, thanks, big shout out to Sadiq Youssef. Thanks, Giant Velismus, for sending them in. Matt Semmelsberger, Eric earlier on as well on the show. Thank you guys for finding them over. And here's the thing: is like they are a community of at the end of the day, and they remember Charles when he first stepped onto the scene and was losing, and then he sort of switched things around, started putting people away, and started winning fights. And we got a little comment here from Nolan Zebra, and he says, Charlie Olives for the win. Thank you, Nolan, first and foremost, because I love that you gone with Charles, and I'm supporting that way too. I love that. But yeah, this is the fact that he's the underdog in this fight would actually bring the dog out of the fighter. Islam is a machine, but I've just the feeling that Charles will be too much. And look, I feel like he's not wrong. He's not wrong, and I'm going to say this quickly now.
Yeah.
Like what happened last time when Charles Oliveira went up against Justin Gaethje or Dustin Poirier?
Mm-hmm.
Every single time, you guys or people in the community are like, oh, this might be the one that stops Charles. I don't know if he can do it this time. And it's always that sort of like y'all must have forgot. I just feel like he gets counted out far too often.
He does get counted out a lot,
I'm hearing it once again, and he's an underdog once. And do you know what? So be it. So be it.
But this is the thing, though. Charles Oliveira has been doing what Khabib done, but in a different way, if you know what I mean. Because obviously they have different ways of getting the fighter to the mat, different ways of their submission game. This is the thing for me. Charles Oliveira hasn't fought anyone like Makhachev. He hasn't fought someone that is strong, that has that Sambo background, and when they get you to the mat, he may not even be able to get a submission attempt off because of how superior his wrestling is. If you get what I mean, they tie up the legs, he can't move, he can't get the angle for the guillotine, he can't get his arms out here because he's trapped an arm. And this is what I'm saying. This is how elite Makhachev is. But it all depends, because we all know Makhachev's going to go for a takedown in this. We all know 1,000% he will. It all depends how the entry is. And if it's a sloppy entry, Charles will snap it up like that. But if Makhachev is wise to it and his entry is quality, then it could be a long night for Charles Oliveira just because of how strong Makhachev is.
Yeah.
And I mean, we also, I know obviously Bobby Green's no grappler himself, but he come out straight away after his fight and said how strong he was. And how I know that's only coming from like Bobby Green, and it's just, it's crazy. Like he is people disregard how strong he is until they get there.
Yeah, those twitch muscle fibers. He must be like wrestling alligators or something like that. You know,
let's get to a quick couple of comments before
let's have some comments.
Taylor Young says a lot of people have been talking about how little Islam gets hit. Hamzat didn't get hit either until he stepped up the competition, which is very true. Like you said, obviously people say that Islam's not had someone in the top 10, not had someone in the top 5. And obviously we all saw what happened to Chimaev when he fought Burns. Burns, like, I mean, hit him several times, dropped him.
Yeah.
That's true, very true. And then Nolan saying, buzzing for the card and looking forward to the bullshitting along with you boys. You guys Saturday. Yeah, mate. You can't wait.
Nolan, honestly, it's going to be mad. It's going to be absolutely wild.
Bro.
I can't wait to have you on board, bro.
And then is that Gabriel says Charles will win the fight for sure.
Nice.
And then
Love that
Josh
pick,
chimes
Gabriel.
back in saying Khabib almost got choked out by Dustin Poirier. Charles is much better on the ground, and Islam isn't Khabib. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's very true. Okay. It's very, very true. But a lot of people say Islam's better than Khabib. So
I mean, this is
what I mean.
He's a 2.0, right? You know, he's a prodigy.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
You know, he's got to amass a long ass win streak with the belt around his waist first and foremost. I mean, I don't. What would if Islam Makhachev doesn't win this fight? What would happen next? I guess it would be Beneil Dariush, I suppose. I mean, that fight.
Well, he's got to get past Gamrot first, buddy.
yeah, I know. I've already.
Quick couple more comments, and then we're getting to the gauge. Tony Young saying Islam is more dominant. That Dagestani wrestling is nasty on the ground, and Charles is more dangerous on the ground. Charles has more power and is a better striker. And Josh says, but Islam will probably just wrestle fuck him, and that'll be that.
Fair.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
fair points, boys. Fair points.
I mean, the thing about Charles Oliveira is he has been tested. He has overcome adversity.
Yes, he has overcome it. Yes.
So much grit to his game. And Islam Makhachev has looked fantastic in his last fights. He has. No doubt about it. The reality is we haven't really seen him push to his limits. Now, could this be the fight that does that? Is Islam Makhachev going to be like Hamzat when he went up against Burns? You know, he took this huge leap in the division. I mean, it's not a massive leap for Makhachev. I think he's done a very he's done a very steady route to the top. He's not done like what Sean O'Malley's doing or Hamzat Chimaev did. But still, he's been steadily putting people away, and the competition has got a little bit tougher time and time over. So look, he's got a very solid foundation, is what I'm saying, coming into this fight. I just think that journey stops with Charles Oliveira, largely because, I mean, there's the power in his hands. Have we seen any power from...
Not really, no. And that, you say that, and I remember hearing Justin Gaethje coming out and saying the point that Nolan just said, that Justin Gaethje come out and said that he's never been hit like the way Charles hit him. And that was with that counter right hook. Well, counter right hand, sorry. So, and that's crazy.
Yeah, true. And the fact that Charles Oliveira come back from that hit.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Let's get that comment down from the screen. And then let's have a look at the wins by TKO or knockout. So the powers definitely sides with someone like Charles Oliveira. Decision-wise, it looks like Islam Makhachev predominantly goes to decisions. Submission-wise, it sits in the hands of Oliveira as well. So in terms of finishing the fight, I mean, it's going to be a 5-round escapade as well. But in terms of finishing the fight, do you think that Charles has what it takes to finish the fight? Let's go with this. Do you think Islam has what it takes to finish the fight? Because that would be, he likes decisions more so.
He does. This is the thing where you can look at it both sides and you can see both outcomes. Because, like, as I said, we all know we're going to see a takedown from Makhachev. And if he gets the takedown and the entry's decent, or if he's up against the fence, right, and he drags him down, ties up the legs, Charles might not be able to get the angle for a guillotine. He may not be able to get the correct angle for a submission because of how much pressure that Islam is putting on him. And that's the difference. Obviously, there was no pressure from Gaethje. He just gave up his back. There was no pressure from Poirier. Just gave up his back. And these are the slight differences that Makhachev will know and have in his arsenal that could potentially pay dividends in this fight. And that's where I think that I see Islam having a slight edge, just because if he does take him down, even if it isn't the center of the octagon, he will have his head off the center line, get the takedown, tie them legs up straight away, or even tie them arms up so he can't grab it, get the submission off.
Yeah. Okay, no, I hear you. I feel like when it comes to that sort of level of strength that Makhachev has accumulated there on the ground, it's those twitch muscle fibers, right? So it's not necessarily like huge biceps, but it's that sort of muscle that's built around the bicep as well, which helps him sort of hold those sort of clamps, if you like, or like those.
The Danny Staggy handcuffs, mate. This is what I'm saying. If he gets him in that, you know what I mean?
He's probably going to feel like a car clamp on Oliveira, and he's
well. That's it. This is what I'm saying. If Islam can get him up against the cage, tie him up. Who knows? But this is what I'm saying. If Islam makes that slight mistake, Charles will bite on it.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is what a lot of people may disregard. A lot of people are thinking, "Oh, Charles has submitted Gaethje. He's knocked out Chandler. He's submitted Justin Gaethje." These guys are not predominantly massive wrestlers or Sambo Dagestani wrestlers like Makhachev that will tie you up and literally wilt you.
Okay, fair. So you think that Islam gets to decide where the fight takes place on the ground
100%,
or standing up?
100%.
And should it be standing up?
Oh, it needs to be on the ground because Charles has got his striking is massively improved. Striking 100% will go to Charles Oliveira in this one. Not disregard, obviously, Makhachev's got decent striking. Obviously, that's improved over the years as well. But Charles Oliveira's striking's on point. But like I said, if Makhachev can get a hold of Oliveira, this is what I'm saying. It's what people disregard.
Just looking at that reach, it's 4 inch. 4 inches in difference, or 3.5. But
let's get the gauge up.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into that.
Let's shoot ourselves in the foot.
Okay. I love that. Okay. So Charles Oliveira on the left and red, and then we've got Makhachev on the right.
Don't forget to drop a like on the video, everyone. And again, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe.
All right. So red corner, we have Charles Oliveira.
Striking goes to Charles. Yeah.
Agreed. Grappling.
Yeah. Now, this is where the differential of it is so technical and so far in between, if you know what I mean. Because obviously, if you see, again, I go back to you see the gi, you go Charles Oliveira.
Yeah.
But in most of the situations, like obviously every fight that Makhachev's been in, he will initiate the grappling, he will initiate the takedown, and he's so good at, like I said, tying up the arms, tying up the legs, and stopping you from getting your offense off and stopping you from getting back to your feet. And this is where a lot of people will think, oh, Charles Oliveira gets it. He's got the most submission wins in UFC history. And again, arguably, I can't argue with that. I'm just digging myself a hole, really. I'm just trying to I'm trying to big up both fighters, but I'm struggling.
Let's come back to this one last, because I feel like this is an interesting one. So if
because everyone has their own little takes. Obviously, as I said, like obviously the strength advantage could pay dividends, and like I said, because Makhachev he could counter the grappling aspects of Charles Oliveira just purely with that strength and the technique. Like as I said, Dagestani handcuffs, tying up the legs.
Do you think this is a fight where the grappling will cancel each other out?
No, I think Makhachev will be too strong for Oliveira.
Okay. All right. So in that case, grappling has been decided, and it goes to Makhachev's corner. And then power, Oliveira.
It's going to go to Oliveira, yeah.
Speed, I'll go Oliveira.
Oliveira for speed, yeah.
Cardio now. Oliveira's been 5 rounds, yes, but hear me out. How many of them have seen the full 5 rounds?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's obviously fucking hell.
I want to go Makhachev.
I want to go Makhachev as well, because he the way he implements his game is more grappling, and obviously that's going to tie you a lot more. And obviously he still goes and goes.
What happens in the 4th/5th round of this fight?
Well, this is what I mean. If
Charles still there?
If Charles is still there, and he'd probably be blowing, surely. And obviously Makhachev may be blowing as well. But this is where the strength advantage will pay dividends. And I think if it does go that far and Islam gets him down again, that's when I don't think that Oliveira will have the strength or the cardio to actually get submission off.
Okay.
But again, that's if it goes there, because who knows? Just quickly get into a couple of comments quick. Yep. Nolan is saying Charles also has the brilliant Rocky type story to to that's hard not to fall in love with, 100%,
true.
mate. And then saying, I read out a comment a minute ago. Taylor Young saying, I think it's worth mentioning that Charles has Chandler's back and Chandler got out. And I do think Michael Chandler is physically stronger than Islam, but Islam is a better technique. This is what I'm saying. I was actually, before we came live, I was actually going to, that's another scenario I was going to mention, because we saw how explosive and strong Chandler was. Obviously, Charles Oliveira had the back of Chandler and had him literally, the choke was there for the taking, but Chandler bided his time just for that split second to explode and switch it on Oliveira. So again, that's another aspect where Islam will definitely thrive on, and the strength advantage will 100% go to Islam. And in them little split seconds of tying up a leg or tying up an arm.
Here's something actually, a little curveball. Something I heard from Jordan actually. He was doing a detailed breakdown here of these two, and he was talking about once you get punched or you get hit, your black belt turns into, which just reduces effectively, you know.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, because Charles 100% could do that to Islam because of obviously, like we're saying, the sneaky power that he has.
And do you reckon Islam's going to be an effective grappler after receiving those sort of strikes from Oliveira early on?
I don't know, because
I'm just juggling curveballs here. I'm juggling curveballs.
This is what I mean. This is what we love to discuss. You chuck a curveball. We trying to discuss the ins and outs of it. And me personally, I think Islam will still have his wits about him. He knows how. I still think he'll have his wits, and the grappling will still be there.
And those odds, are you 100% siding with them as well?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. It's crazy that Islam's
and minus 180 for
Islam. It's crazy that Islam. Right? It's crazy that Islam is favourite in this. Bearing in mind, Charles. Only
because you want to put money.
Arguably the champion. It's crazy.
Yeah. This is it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Last comment from Taylor saying Charles is more dangerous grappler, but I'd probably give the grappling to Islam. 100%. This is what I'm saying. This is the difference in the ways you see grappling. Obviously, a lot of people that will just come in may have clicked off a minute ago because I've gone Islam for grappling just purely because they see the gi there. But the reason I've gone Makhachev is the counter argument of it. He's going to be too strong for Oliveira, so Oliveira can't get his submissions and that grappling of his. And he can't attack because of the strength of Islam. Like I said, he will tie up the arms, he will tie up the legs.
Yeah, I think it's the difference of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, right? You're talking about his threat level on the ground in terms of ending the fight. It's all in Charles's favor should he be in top position. But then you're talking about someone like Makhachev. He can chip away at you down there. He can wear on your gas tank down there, and he can hold you there for the duration, owning the ground time, and obviously looking positive at the end of the round. So there is a sort of dynamic there between grappling and then sort of jiu-jitsu. But again, we can really sort of split all of this up as much as we want to. But yeah, okay, cool. And look, you are going Islam on this one, I presume.
I am going Islam, yeah.
All right, cool. I might make a pretty penny on Oliveira because this guy. I mean, for people who are, if you are a betting man, I'm not myself. Then for someone like Oliveira, and I guess using some insights from this breakdown, that could be quite good outcome. Seeing he's a plus 155. I think the odds should be a bit closer.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're particularly right in my eyes. All right. And that's wow, man. That's that.
Yeah,
that takes us to the full end.
And obviously, and just before we do, obviously, thanks for all your comments and thank you for your tuned in. Honestly, we can't wait for the weekend. Obviously, as Si mentioned, we're going live for the whole card. We only usually go live for the main card, but because this is one of the biggest cards of the year and it's a decent time over in the UK for us, why not? So, if you've not seen the YouTube shorts that we just put out, that Jordan put out. We've got some games that we're doing, some drinking games that we're doing. Obviously, just to get everyone in the mood for the fights. Obviously, games, forfeits for us as well. For you guys, you could pick a forfeit for one of us to doing things. We've got some special guests. You've seen some of the fighters on here. Some of them might be tuning in with us and watching some of the fights with us. So again, some of the fighters that you may have seen here sending their picks to us that you've seen will be live with us, and they will be breaking down the fights and having their insight on the fights as well. So I can't wait for that.
special guests, ask some questions, be in the room. Don't watch these fights on your own. Be in the room, be able to watch it with a community of fight fans, and even in some cases here, we got fighters as well. I also want to read out this comment here from Score C3.
Welcome in, buddy.
Maybe Scores. Yeah, welcome on in. He says, we've never seen Charles pass round 3 before, and that is wide-eyed eyeballs. Interesting.
Yeah,
Ash,
that's true. Yeah, obviously, because he's obviously been 3 rounds before. But
this is why we gave him the cardio to Makhachev.
Yeah.
But the champion has a name, and it's Charles Oliveira. Go on, no. Thank you. You said it for me. This is what I'm saying, right? See you guys Saturday. Noden, you're an absolute gentleman, and Scott, thanks for chiming in. Thanks for your comments. Absolutely love that. And you're right. The champion does have a name.
And it's Frankie Edgotland.
Yeah, whoa. Where did that come from? Simmer down. But yeah, look, Ash brilliantly rolled out there for you guys. Absolutely everything's going to be kicking off this Saturday, so don't miss it.
Yes,
do be there. Content all for this week. This has been the People's Pick Show. We've actually enjoyed it. We've got through the whole entire card. If you haven't already got into the Fight League, do that as well. You get to test your picks up against our picks. We'll be putting our picks into that Fight League as well. Description's going to be below. We have a Discord down there too. Just be part of the fun, guys. Don't do this stuff on your own.
Be part of the family.
We're a huge community here.
Obviously, we just enjoy the fights with us.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Any other shout outs? Any other comments worth mentioning? Or is that a good night?
See you Saturday, everyone. See you Saturday.
Peace out. Thanks all. Bye-bye.